Meeting on studies in Sweden. My name is Cynthia Vasquez, and I am the intern at the Swedish Embassy. And today the program will begin with Maria Lindblad, who is going to give some general information about studies in Sweden. And then she will have a little presentation about Lund University. Cecilia Tiscornia will then have a presentation about Uppsala University, followed by Martina Sjövind, who will present about Gothenburg, the University of Gothenburg, and then Hans Lundin will have a presentation about the Royal Swedish University of Technology, and lastly, Christian Alarcon will present about the Swedish Agricultural University, and we will then end with a Q&A. So please, Maria Lindblad, if you would take over.
Well, Audrey is the person who will speak in behalf of Lund University, last minute change. So we have Audrey Savage, please. Nice.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us today. My name is Audrey Savage, and I'm an International Communications Officer at Lund University. I'm also the Communications Officer for Access, the academic collaboration Chile-Sweden, which is one of the reasons we're here to talk with you today. My colleague Maria is sadly on a flight that's been delayed, so I'm jumping in. But I want to first share some information with you about Sweden as a whole, of course, what you're here to learn about today. And then we have some great presentations from several universities introducing the universities more specifically. But to jump right in, of course, just to give you a little overview of Sweden as a country and as a study destination. Sweden's a fantastic place to live and study. I can say from my own experience, I was once an international student at Lund myself and in Sweden. I'm originally from the US and chose Sweden as a destination that I thought would be a fantastic place to study. And I think it's a wonderful choice for all students from around the world. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Sweden in detail, just to give you a bit of an overview. So Sweden is quite a large country with a small population, not unlike Chile at all. And as you can see on the map, we're quite a long country, also very similar to Chile. But no matter where you go, something that's very important to Sweden culturally and to pretty much every Swedish person you meet is the appreciation for nature, which is something that when I visited Chile for the first time last year as part of the academic forum that we put on for Access, is something that I noticed immediately that we share between our countries, is a very serious consideration for the world that's around us and really preserving the natural spaces. So no matter where you are in Sweden, even if you're in some of our largest cities, you're never very far away from nature. And though our population might be small, our higher education system is known for being one of the best in the world. You can study at any one of our 39 different universities and experience that for yourself firsthand. So one of the first questions that I always get from students when I meet them around the world is, do you need to speak Swedish to study in Sweden? And the answer is absolutely not. Sweden is one of the highest countries in the world in terms of native English speaking from a non-native speaking country. So pretty much everyone you encounter will speak fantastic English, and all of the programs that we will be talking about today are fully taught in English. So you can come to Sweden without learning any Swedish. But then you also might not forget to learn a little bit of Swedish, as it can help you to integrate with the society, make friends, and also potentially find a job if you'd like to stay and work in Sweden afterwards. It's always a great idea, of course, to learn a little bit of the language no matter where you are. And Sweden makes this especially easy by offering a wonderful program called Swedish for Immigrants, which offers Swedish courses for free for students and other newcomers to Sweden. And I would be willing to bet that Sweden is already something that you have used today, if not even right now. So we have a number of different innovations that have come out of Sweden in recent years. Of course, Skype, we kind of maybe don't use so much anymore, but I like to think that Zoom, what we're all, of course, on right now, was sort of the brainchild that came out of what began as Skype. Perhaps you use Spotify or Bluetooth listening to some music this morning, or if you've traveled anywhere today, hopefully you wore a seatbelt, which are all things that have come out of innovation in Sweden. So what is it like to actually study in the classrooms in Sweden? Let's talk about that. The first thing that a lot of students notice in Sweden, no matter where you study, is that there are no hierarchies. You call your lecturers by their first name, which might feel a little bit strange at first. There's no sir, ma'am, professor, doctor. It's just Lars or Sarah or Henrik. But this really contributes to a feeling of informality and a sense of equality within the classroom in Sweden. You're able to really learn from each other and engage in an open discussion and a dialogue in a way that's very informal and very welcoming. Another thing that you also notice quite quickly in Sweden is that we don't have all the answers, and we learn from you just as much as you learn from everything from us. So we encourage you to be ready to question your lecturers, question your peers, the rules, and the way that everything has always been done, as that's how we really learn and innovate for the future. There's also really a strong focus on learning in Sweden and really developing your own knowledge and being able to use that in the real world rather than just memorizing or punishing failure. So you're not spoon-fed your degree in Sweden. You are responsible for your own learning, but within that, you really learn to develop your own thoughts and reflections and focus on really the quality of what you're learning and what you produce. And if you fail, that's okay too. That's an important part of the learning process in Sweden, and you'll be given another chance, because really the main point of education in Sweden is to know that you have really understood and taken in that knowledge so that you can use it in the future, not that you can just memorize something to spit it out on a test, which of course anyone can do, but to really know that you are learning and processing that information. So then what is it like to actually live in Sweden as an international student? So the lifestyle in Sweden can be quite unique, but I also think this is something that really ties the two countries together in a really special way, particularly when it comes to equality. Equality is something that's very important in Sweden. Regardless of gender, everyone is considered equal in Sweden, as you see from some of the statistics and numbers here on the screen. It's really a cornerstone of Swedish society, and one of the reasons that we're viewed as one of the most equal countries in the world. But that being said, there's always things that we can do to improve. So this is why we hope that international students from around the world will join our movement in Sweden and help us find ways that we can do even better. We also have a lot of LGBTQ+ students who come to Sweden because they feel that they can be themselves. This is something that we're very proud of in Sweden, and something we think is important to share, that regardless of your sexual orientation, you will feel safe in Sweden and accepted and not challenged or questioned in any way. And as I mentioned earlier, we are in love with our planet and very protective of it in Sweden. This is, again, something that I really think we go hand in hand with together between Sweden and Chile. And sustainability is really ingrained into our curriculum in our universities, as well as it is in our culture. So I would venture to say that most, or at least the vast majority of programs that you might find in Sweden, regardless of what it entails, will have some aspect of sustainability as part of the curriculum, because we really care about making sure that our environment is protected and that we're educating people to be able to take the next step into making sure that we continue to live in a more sustainable world. We also have a lot of innovative different businesses and research platforms around Sweden. And innovation isn't really just a buzzword that we throw around. You might recognize some of the different companies here on the screen that are all large companies based in Sweden. So whether it comes to reinventing how the world furnishes their homes or listens to music, or making sure that we have a greener future, innovation is something that's really built into the fabric of Sweden. We're home to more $1 billion businesses, or unicorns, than any other location in the world outside of Silicon Valley, but at the same time really emphasize an excellent work-life balance to make sure that you can really get hard work done, do that fantastic innovation and research, while also maintaining a good life outside of your studies or your work, which contributes to having us ranked as one of the happiest countries in the world consistently. But you're here to learn about studying in Sweden, of course, so let's jump right into what you actually need to do to come study with us in Sweden. And again, this is just a quick overview today, so we're hoping just to kind of heighten your interest a little bit. Each of the universities will be giving a short presentation as well afterwards, and you can always find more info online. But to give a quick overview, we have quite a lot of programs that you can study throughout Sweden. There are 100 programs in Sweden taught in English at the bachelor's level, and over 1,000 programs taught at the master's level in English. So there's quite a lot of variety, anywhere between a 3-year bachelor's to a 1- or 2-year master's. And you can find information about all of the programs, of course, online at studyInSweden.se, as well as at each university's website, of course. And while you can study just about anything, we have a few sort of extra popular areas in terms of programs, which tend to be in fields, of course, related to sustainability, human rights, business, design, life sciences, biotechnology, all these sorts of things. So there's really something for everyone in Sweden. And just as you can study just about anything, you can also study just about anywhere. So as I mentioned, we have 39 universities in Sweden that are spread all throughout the country. So as you see, the vast majority are located in the bottom third of the country, which helps us stay a little bit warmer. But of course, you can go all the way up to the north above the Arctic Circle if you choose. And of course, there's a lot of really great research going on in the north in terms of sustainability and all kinds of different aspects there. So no matter what you're looking for, there's going to be a lot of great options available for you. And here you can see an outline of the application process to apply for a degree program in Sweden. So we have a national application portal called universityadmissions.se. So you apply for all universities in one place, which makes it very simple. You can apply for up to 4 master's programs or 8 bachelor's programs in one time. And these can be from 4 or 8 different universities or 4 or 8 programs at the same university. It doesn't matter. You just need to pick 4 or 8 that you're interested and eligible in. And then January 15th is the deadline to actually pick these programs and put them in a specific ranking order. This is a really important part of the process to make sure that you both understand that you are actually eligible for all the programs that you're applying to, but then also ranking them in the order of your preference, because at the end of the day, you can only ever receive 1 admissions offer from Sweden. So if you're admitted to your first choice, that's great. All the other applications will be deleted. If you're admitted to the second, but not the first, great. The ones below get deleted and so on. So this is why it's very important to really think hard about what is your preference in terms of which programs are going to be a good fit for you. Afterwards, on February 1st, you have the deadline for the documents to be submitted. And then in March and April, you would receive your admissions results. So this year it will be March 21st for master's students and April 11th for bachelor students for studies starting in late August. Here you can see the average tuition fees in Sweden. So for the average master's or bachelor's programs, tuition per year is around 129,000 SEK, which comes to around 11 million Chilean pesos. But if you are lucky enough to be a dual citizen with an EU country, then tuition is free. This is something that, for me, I can also say from my own experience, again, was a big decision maker in choosing Sweden, because of course, coming from the US, you pay quite a lot more tuition than this. So while it's not free unless you're an EU citizen, it can be a very affordable choice compared to studying abroad in some other countries. And there are usually options for scholarships. So there is a specific scholarship for Chilean students from CONACYT and ANID if you are choosing to study at either KTH or Lund University. And for all other universities, there are typically many different individual and program-specific scholarships available at each university. You just have to take a look at what's available at the university you're interested in. And then to touch briefly on PhD studies, as I know we might have some folks in the audience today who are interested in PhDs. PhDs typically are around 4 to 5 years of study and consist they're more so like a job. So you apply directly to the department that you're interested in. There's no national system the way that there is for bachelor's and master's applications. And essentially you apply just like any other job ad to the department directly who is opening a position for a PhD. And then if anyone out there is a current PhD student, just to share a little bit about Access, the organization that I'm a part of and or all of us are a part of here today. The Academic Collaboration Chile-Sweden is a research platform for researchers, postdocs, and PhD students from 17 different universities throughout Chile and Sweden. We were lucky enough this past year in November to be in Punta Arenas and Puerto Natales for the Access Forum 2022. And next year in June, we will be in Stockholm, Sweden, hosted by KTH, who's here today, as well as Stockholm University. So if you're a PhD student out there, the application is open now to join us in Stockholm for the next Access Forum for sustainability-focused research. And you can also learn more online. We have some PhD courses that are also opening soon so that you can take a bilateral course between the 2 countries. So to sum up, we are certainly not a perfect country, but there are some things that make Sweden a pretty great country to live and study in. So if you want to challenge yourself academically, if you care about the environment and want to live in a world that makes everyone treated more equal and help us get to that society, if you want to have a work-life balance and live in a safe place, then Sweden might be a very good choice for you to take your next step as far as your studies. And there are some resources where you can find more info. Again, the studyinSweden.se website is a great place to get an overview about studying in Sweden. You can follow some of their students directly online and also get a lot of resources, as well as, of course, the university websites. So thank you so much. That is my presentation, giving an overview of Sweden, and I believe I will jump directly in and share some information as well about Lund University, which I represent. Give me one moment. All right, so to dive right in, as I mentioned, I also work directly at Lund University, so we'll share a little bit about our university as well today. So Lund is in a region of around 4 million people that we call the Greater Copenhagen region, right at the very bottom tip of Sweden. And this is something that we believe gives us a lot of strength for our students to be able to study in a place that has tons of different innovation centers, science parks, research opportunities. And throughout all of our studies, we really encourage students to take advantage of this. So no matter what you're studying in Lund, you'll be encouraged to take part in an internship, a study visit, research, or something connected to some of these different industries, companies, and research areas throughout this region. And it's also very easily reachable from all around the world. We're about 40 minutes away from the international airport in Copenhagen here in England. Lund was founded in 1666, so for anyone who is good at math, that means we recently celebrated our 350th birthday. We have around 45,000 students across 9 faculties and a number of different programs. We are consistently ranked in the world top 100 universities, most recently number 85 in the QS world rankings, and is the #1 choice for international students coming to Sweden out of around 17,000 universities in the world, that is, in the rankings, so something we're quite proud of. Around 46% of our PhD students and 60% of our master's students are international, so you will definitely be able to find fellow peers from both Chile and also the rest of Latin America, as well as the rest of the world. We have students from around 130 nationalities on campus, and again, speaking personally from my own experience studying at Lund, I think this is one of the biggest strengths of studying in such an international environment, because you get to learn so much from your peers, both in the classroom and out. We also have one of Scandinavia's widest ranges of courses across our 9 different faculties and some world-class research centers. About 2/3 of our budget goes to research. So this is something that we really encourage our students at every study level to really engage in our different research facilities and availabilities there. We have a few different research areas that we particularly excel at, one being, of course, a look at better health, so proactive aging, cancer research, also looking at future technology and efficient technologies. We have a very strong social science program and background in terms of social sustainability, human rights, development studies, which is something that's, of course, very important in the world today. And as I mentioned in the earlier presentation, as I'm sure pretty much all of us in Sweden would say, a strong emphasis on sustainability-based research and programs. Lund has educated Nobel laureates, prime ministers, president of Zambia, and several different notable leaders throughout history. The most recent of which we are quite proud of is Anne Le Hullier, who won the Nobel Prize in Physics this year for her research in attoseconds and light pulses that last attoseconds. We also offer over 140 different programs taught in English at our university. So we have 10 available in English at the bachelor's level, which are 3 years in duration each, though I assume the majority of you are probably more interested in a master's level and above, of which so we have about 130 programs in pretty much every subject that you can imagine. The vast majority are 2 years in duration, but we have a handful that are 1 year in duration if you're studying at our economics and management faculty. And we have quite a few that are also very intentionally interdisciplinary. So if you're looking to change careers, if you studied something for your bachelor's and you think, I'm not so sure that I really want to go into this, we have a lot of different options that intentionally take in students from all different backgrounds in order to create a very interdisciplinary environment. So that could be a good option for you. And as I mentioned, we really try to encourage our students to take advantage of the great sort of industry area that we're in by taking part in some kind of research or other experiential learning opportunity during your studies. For those interested in PhDs at Lund are 4 years in duration, and as I mentioned, you apply directly to the department that you're interested in with no tuition fees, but instead being employed by the department. In general, looking at tuition fees at Lund, the average is around $14,000 to $19,000 US a year, and we recommend having around $1,000 a month in living costs to cover things like accommodation and food and books and things. If you are admitted to university in Sweden, regardless which university, you will also need to prove you have living funds of around $1,000 a month in order to apply for a residence permit. So that's always something to keep in mind when you're thinking about applying as well. We do offer our own Lund University Global Scholarship, which can cover anywhere from 25% to 100% of tuition fees and is completely merit-based. So if you've been really excelling in your studies, this can be something to definitely look into applying for to help make the tuition a little bit more affordable, though it can be quite competitive. So we always encourage you to look into other funding options as well. We do have a funding agreement with CONACYT and ANID, specifically in Chile. So if you're receiving funding from CONACYT, you will be eligible to get an extra 20% scholarship from Lund, which is deducted directly from the tuition fees. You also have insurance included directly from the Swedish government if you're selected as a student, and we have a housing guarantee for all students who are non-EU citizens, so that you'll be guaranteed to have housing and not have to worry about looking for that. So in the essence of time, I won't go through all of this, but essentially just what I mentioned earlier, the time is now essentially to explore looking at programs and make sure that you're applying by the deadlines in January and February. The application for the Lund Global Scholarship opens in February after the general application closes. And then our office will be in touch with anyone who is admitted and help you through the whole process of making sure you arrive to Lund later in the year. Finally, if we have anyone who's interested in an exchange study, we have agreements with both Universidad Católica and Universidad de Chile. So you can get in touch directly with my colleague Miguel in order to hear about the different types of agreements and different subjects, as well as, of course, probably getting in touch directly with the exchange university offices in your home universities. So I hope this was enough to get you curious about Lund. You can always go to our website to explore more info. And I also want to share my colleague Maria's direct email. Maria is the recruitment officer specifically for Chile. So she has all of the expertise about what you need to apply and what documents and things. So if you have any questions, you can always get directly in touch with Maria here. And we hope to see you at Lund in the future. And now I will pass things over to my colleague Cecilia at Uppsala University.
Thank you so much, Audrey. Screen. Hope you all can see it okay, and that yeah, we can see the presentation. All right. As Audrey said, my name is Cecilia Fiscarnia. I work for Uppsala University at the Division for Internationalization with international student recruitment. And to start out, I would like to talk briefly about the city where our university is located. So Uppsala is Sweden's fourth largest city, but in an international setting, that might be not very big. About 230,000 people live in the city of Uppsala. But we do, however, have a big university compared to the rest of the city.
Cecilia, sorry to interrupt you, but your audio is hard to understand. So maybe you can put the mic closer to your face, or...
Let's see here. Is it better now?
Yes, much better.
Okay, great.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know. So yes, as I mentioned, Uppsala is quite a small city, but we do have a big university compared to the number of people who live in the city. So about 50,000 of the people that live in the city are connected to the two universities in the city. We have a very student-friendly environment. So since there are so many students in the city, they make up such a large portion of the people living here. We have a lot of culture, sports, and entertainment that target student audience specifically. And I will talk more about the student life in Uppsala further on. Uppsala is located north of Stockholm, and it's just a 40-minute train ride away from the capital of Sweden, and about 15 minutes from Sweden's largest airport, Arlanda. So if you want to make use of your time in Sweden and do some traveling, Sweden is very convenient. Uppsala is very convenient for that. Here. In Uppsala, we do not have one main campus. Instead, the university buildings and campus areas are spread out all over the city. So you can see here in the map, there is the Uppsala Castle, Uppsala Cathedral, and then a bunch of the university buildings that you would visit as an Uppsala University student. We do also have one campus that is not in the city of Uppsala, but instead on the island of Gotland, which is located in the Baltic Sea. And I will talk more about that in a moment. So, as I mentioned, student life in Uppsala is quite special. We have 13 student nations, which is fairly unique to Sweden, and especially Uppsala and Lund as well. They are sort of like student clubs or associations. There are some similarities with American fraternities or sororities, but not really. And essentially all students join a student nation and they become sort of the student second living room. So you go there to meet people who do not study the same thing as you do. And they have their own choirs, orchestras, nightclubs, bars where you can go. And it's a very integral and important part of the Uppsala student life. We also have student unions where you can engage with questions related to quality of studies and things like that. We have active student participation in all decisions made at the university. So that ranges from deciding on a syllabus for a course to what programs to start at the university. There are always students participating in the decisions. And there are a lot of, considering Uppsala is such an old university, there are a lot of traditions that you as a student are more than welcome to take part in. And speaking of culture and cultural heritage, sorry, hard word in English if you're a Swedish speaker. There are plenty of museums and art and cultural history sites related to the university. As I mentioned, plenty of academic traditions, music and gardens. There's so much to do if you're interested in culture and history and are an Uppsala University students. The university has its own museums, and several of them are located in the central parts of Uppsala. We have orchestras that are connected to the university, choirs, and then, as I mentioned, the student nations also have their own choirs. So if you are into music, this is a good choice for you. And there is a botanical garden that is connected to the university. Maybe you have heard of Carl Linnaeus, the father of botany, as they call him. He was a professor at Uppsala University and started botanical gardens in the city. So speaking of Campus Gotland, which is our newest campus, it became part of Uppsala University in 2013. It is located on the island of Gotland, which is in the Baltic Sea. So it's not like you would live in Uppsala and then commute to Gotland if you are a student there. If you study a program that is offered on the island of Gotland, that is where you live and engage with other students and so on. So while it is part of the university, it is its own campus. We have 20 departments that have courses and programs taught at the Gotland campus, and they also have a multidisciplinary graduate school in sustainable development on Gotland. The city of Visby, which is the biggest city on Gotland, is the UNESCO World Heritage Site and has medieval city wall and plenty of historic buildings. We have 6 bachelor's programs and 5 master's programs that are taught on Gotland. And they include subjects such as sustainable management, game design, archaeology, and wind power project management. And about 20% of the students on Gotland are international students. So the international presence there is very significant. And as I mentioned, 6 bachelor's programs. All of them are offered on Gotland, and they are in the subjects game design, energy transition, sustainable development and industrial engineering, and leadership, quality, and improvement, which is also related to industrial engineering. And they are all 3 years of study and lead to a bachelor's degree. We also have more than 100 international master's programs that are taught entirely in English, both 1-year programs and 2-year programs. Many of the 2-year programs can be completed in 1 year. So essentially you apply to a 2-year program, and then once you commence your studies, you inform your coordinator that you would like to complete the program in 1 year, and then you get a master's degree of 1 year. It's like 60 ECTS credits. And we, like Lund, we offer programs in most subjects, but You can see a general list here on the screen, but yes, we offer a very wide range of subjects at the master's level. And as already has been mentioned, no Swedish language required. Yes, I would just like to wrap up this presentation by telling you about our digital ambassadors that you are more than welcome to follow on our social media. They talk about what it's like to be an international student at Uppsala University, what their everyday lives are like, what they do in the city of Uppsala and on the island of Gotland. So feel free to follow our Instagram account, study@UU, check our blog, tagged for Uppsala, or follow our YouTube account, Uppsala Universitet. And I hope to see you at Uppsala University next year. Thank you so much.
Okay, then I think it's me, right? I'll just share. Okay, I think you're seeing my whole screen now. I couldn't share just the PowerPoint, but I will see if I can do like this. Okay, so my name is Martina Chauvin, and I work for the University of Gothenburg. Just to give you the basics of what type of university we are. Our university dates back to 1891. We are one of the most comprehensive university in Northern Europe. We are a city university, which means that we are not a campus located university. We are situated basically all over Gothenburg, which is Sweden's second largest city, situated on the west coast. We have around 30,000 full year students, but in total we have around 50,000 students, but we have students studying just short-timed courses also. On our master level, almost 50% makes up or are international students. One thing that I think you would probably be interested in if you want to study in Sweden and our university is that we have a big scholarship program for international students. We offer at least one scholarship for each master program that we have, and for our bachelor programs, it's a tuition fee waiver. We are ranked top 100 in many of our subjects. For international students, we offer 9 bachelor programs. 3 are, or 1 in international relations, 1 in business and economics, and also 1 in software engineering. Then we have 3 very specific fine arts programs as well on the bachelor levels. And on the master level, we have around 80 programs. I will go over a little bit so you can see which subjects that we have. It's business management and economics, educational science, fine art, crafts and design, music and performance. So we actually have one of the largest artistic faculties in Scandinavia. So this makes us a little bit special in that sense. We also have a number of programs in social sciences and behavioral sciences, and also humanities, communication and language. A large number of programs in information technology and computer science, a few programs in innovation, entrepreneurship, natural sciences and mathematics and life sciences. Almost all of our master programs are 2 years, so you will be receiving either an MA, an MSc or an MFA. I think we have 1 program in investigative journalism that is 1 year. To mention a bit about where you will be located. So here's a picture of Gothenburg. So as I said or mentioned, we're situated on the west coast of Sweden. So we are very close to the archipelago of the west coast. We are a very vibrant city, both culturally. Many big, large sports events and music concerts are usually held in Gothenburg. And the university is very incorporated in the city, and also in the sense of that we have a lot of cooperation with companies in Gothenburg, the society in general. Volvo is located, has its headquarters in Gothenburg, SKF, but also a very rich startup and innovation scene. So if you're looking for a study destination where you can both get the university life and the student life within the university, but also have that city life and the connections to the possibilities that will give you, then Gothenburg might be a good choice for you. So I will stop there, and if you have any questions later on, I will be happy to answer.
Is Hans Lundin?
Yes.
Present?
All right.
Perfect, thanks.
Thank you. All right. Nice to be here with you all. My name is Hans Lundin, and I work as a regional advisor for Latin America at KTH. And I'm going to briefly talk about master studies at KTH, Sweden's leading technical university. You can see here on this slide, you can see a website where you can enter and find more detailed information. So KTH is located in Stockholm, the capital. And being in Stockholm is actually being in the center of the innovative environment of Sweden and the heart of a lot of business operations as well. KTH was established already in 1827, which is quite old for being a technical university, at least. So it's the oldest, but also the biggest technical university in Sweden. So we have around 13,000 full-time students. It's also a very research-intense university. So we have a lot of research, a lot of staff working with research, and an expression of that is that we have over 2,000 PhD students. We're quite well ranked in the world. Some areas are ranked even higher than the general rankings, particularly in electrical engineering, but also in material science, mechanical engineering, and civil engineering. Yeah, sorry, it's okay. All right. Yeah, so this is an image of our main campus that's located in the city center of Stockholm. Stockholm has approximately 2 million inhabitants, and as you can see in this photo, it's quite well distributed, the built environment, the forest, and the water. So it's a rather livable cities with good public transport and possibilities to bike and to walk. As a student, you can provide accommodation opportunities, and that could either be close to our campus in the city center, but also in other areas around the city. Except the main campus, we also have other campuses close to Stockholm. Up in the north, we have the second biggest campus, which is called KTH Kista or Kista. And that's located in kind of the Silicon Valley of Sweden. That's called, where the headquarters of Microsoft, not the headquarters, sorry, the headquarters of Ericsson, but also Microsoft, IBM, and other big companies and startup companies have their facilities and activities going on up there. So that's where we have the ICT and computer science related areas. We also have campuses in Södertälje, which is where the truck and bus manufacturer Scania has its both headquarters and manufacturing plant. So we have close collaboration with them. And also a campus focused on life science, which we share with the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm. We offer 63 programs, master programs provided in English. Some of these are joint master programs, and most of those are within the scheme of European Innovation Institute of Technology. So that means that you study 1 year at KTH and 1 year at another European university. I will not go through all the programs we have, but I could just briefly show them. These are the programs provided by the School of Architecture and Built Environment. And as you see in the parentheses, where it says joint, that means that it's a joint program. So be precautious when it comes to these programs, because these might have other application deadlines. You might have other scholarship schemes and other application procedures. These are the programs provided by the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. And as you can see here, you have a lot of joint programs as well. If it doesn't say anything within parentheses, it means that the programs are 2 years. So you study 2 years at KTH. These are the programs provided by Engineering Science School and the School of Engineering Sciences in Chemistry, Biotechnology, and Health, and the School of Industrial Engineering and Management. So just briefly, already mentioned a bit about the teaching methods in Sweden in general. But I can also mention that at KTH, we focus a lot of challenge-driven education and problem-based learning, meaning that we don't just have lectures, but it includes seminars, teamwork, laboratory work, and individual studies, all with the aim to provide an engineer to be prepared for a work life. So in these programs, you study 3 semesters of courses, and then the final semester thesis work. And I think I'm running out of time, but I can just briefly mention that our alumni have a good track record when it comes to employability. And here you can see a list of the most common workplaces where our alumni work. And the reason why it says KTH is the first is because this includes the PhD students as well. So to wrap up, if you want to learn more about KTH, except entering our website, you can also engage with our students, our student ambassadors, as well as in social media, as you can see here. Thank you.
All right, so it's my turn. I will just share the PowerPoint. Let me see if it works. Share screen. Let's see, where's this? Oh, there's some issue. I don't know. Can I? Yeah. Sorry. So my PowerPoint cannot be seen. I don't know why.
I'm sorry to interrupt. There are some questions in the chat. If someone can read them and answer them.
Yes, but we have one presentation left before answering questions. So Christian, you are a co-host, so you should be able to share your screen.
Yeah, I understand that. And then when I try to share, there seemed to be an issue with the system preferences. Okay, I think I can just go without a PowerPoint. I am representing SLU, the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences today, but I wanted to mention that I am a Chilean. I study in La Chile. I study law. I am a lawyer from the University of Chile. And I did my PhD at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences. And this university is one of the largest universities in Sweden when it comes to campuses. But when it comes to students, we don't have many students because it's very, very research intensive student in comparison to other universities. So we have several master programs, and many of them are interdisciplinary master programs. And our university is among the top universities in the world when it comes to forestry and agricultural sciences. But we also have these transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary programs that can give possibilities even for people like me, a lawyer from Chile, to study something that is called rural development. So the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences has campuses in the south of Sweden, close to Lund. Also, the main campus is in Uppsala, in the same city where Uppsala University is. We have actually several programs that are cooperations between Uppsala University and SLU. And also we have campuses in other parts of Sweden. So there is plenty of information about master education in our webpage. And sometimes I always advise students from Chile that are interested to go to Sweden and to SLU, that is sometimes important to prepare their applications, contact the people that are running the courses or the programs that you want to apply to, because you get a lot of information if you really show an interest in going to SLU and also to other Swedish universities. And so be active in searching possibilities. You got a lot of information today. I'm sorry that I cannot show the PowerPoint presentation I had, but I think that we share the same approach. So there is a common deadline for applying. And also the cooperation between universities in Sweden is very, very good. So independently of the university you choose, I think that Sweden is a very interesting place to do your master studies, or if you go for a PhD, also it's a very interesting country where a lot of research on sustainability and also gender and also equality issues are really, really incorporated into our education. So I think we will have time for question and answers. So I finish here, and feel free to contact me and write in Spanish if you prefer. I am currently in Ñuñoa preparing fieldwork. I am a researcher, so I have to soon start meeting people in the countryside in Chile. So thank you very much for your attention.
Gracias, Christian. So let's go with the questions now. I will read them, and then anyone can jump from Sweden to answer it. So Juan Vasquez asked, do you have any program for digital marketing? I think this was when Hans was speaking. So Juan, if you can confirm if that's the university you're interested in. Meanwhile, I will answer the next question. So maybe what level of English do I need to be able to apply for a PhD? Martina?
I think I can answer that. Yeah, like there is no general, like many explain, like PhD level in Sweden, it works like a job application. So what requirements for that specific PhD position will be announced on the PhD you're interested in. And that, so if there is requirements of English level or knowledge of Swedish even, that will be stated on that specific PhD program description.
Thank you.
So there is no general answer to that.
Okay, case by case. And
I can
Martina,
add something to,
okay.
Can I add something to the
Yes.
PhD education? Just to give you details, you go to the university's web pages and there are vacancies or work possibilities. And then you find all the information about the PhD education that is offered and how you can apply. So be active and look at the web pages because all the information is there, is public.
Thank you. Lisa, maybe you can answer the next question. Is it true that if I have siblings or relatives that are Swedish citizens, there are no fees for university?
Well, you could say that if you have a residence permit in Sweden based on other things than studies, you don't have to pay tuition fees. Or if you have a citizenship from another country in the European Union. So just having siblings doesn't mean that you don't have to pay tuition fees. It depends on how, if you have a residence permit based on your relationship to your family in Sweden. So that's a quick answer.
Can I ask something related to that? If I have a European passport, is it the same as the citizenship?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Nice. So let's go with Shirin asks, which English test do you recommend for application for master programs in Uppsala, Lund, or Gothenburg? TOEFL, IELTS, or CAE, or it depends on the program?
I think I can answer that. So in general, I would say there is no specific test that we recommend. The university admission, like the application portal, what you do, they specifically say which test you can take to prove your English proficiency, and that would be if like you use the same documentations for all of the universities since you're applying in the same system. So you just have to go to university admissions to see which test they accept. I know TOEFL at least. I don't saw the other ones, but yeah, so it's all listed on that website.
Okay. Thank you, Martina. And well, there is another question, but it's similar to the last one. So so you should check the websites. Usually TOEFL, IELTS are accepted. Even some institutions are accepting the Duolingo English test nowadays, which is cheaper. So it's easy. It's the recommendation would be to look for the program or the university of interest and write language requirements and Google it. Well, I think it's almost 11. We're very sharp with the time. Well, Francisco, do you have a question?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for your presentation. I have just one question regarding the final time when you study the graduation. There's any kind of special visa condition after graduations for international students in order to pursue a job position in Sweden or international companies based in Sweden? Because I assume that the people will apply with a study visa. But after graduation, is there any kind of time period in order for the international student to apply to a job position in Sweden or not?
I can answer that one, perhaps. I'm Maria from Lund. Yes, so if your plan is to come to Sweden to study, you should, of course, like you said, apply for a residence permit for studies, and you will have that throughout your studies. If you want to stay in Sweden after you graduate, it's a good idea to start quite early and look for work, maybe even start working part-time if you find a job, but definitely start looking actively. But if you haven't found the right job by the time you graduate, which will be the situation for most students, of course, because you're focusing on your studies, then you can apply for an after-studies permit through the Swedish Migration Agency, and that will allow you to stay for another year to look for work. And if you find a job, then you will, of course, immediately apply for a work permit, and then you just stay there on a work permit instead. But you have the 12-month after-studies permit while you're looking for work.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So to finish, I would like to say thanks to the Swedish Embassy and also to all the people from Sweden who presented today for this informative activity. So I will be sending you as well the list of people who register. So maybe you can send them some follow-up material or information that might be useful for application or other important aspects of studying in Sweden. So thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Excuse me,
yes.
Is there a chance we can get the slides so we can like read calmly the different programs and check the emails listed on the slides?
Yes, so I will send the representatives from the universities the list of participants, and they if they want or if they can, they will share you the slides by email. Okay, thank you, Mafalda, for your for what you said. Okay, thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you.